Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to talk about my fourth build of the league, which is EK Ignite. And yes, you heard me right, EK Ignite back in the house, the 322 tattooed Trial of the Ancestors version. And do we say good things first or bad things first? Or both? I mean, it's not really a bad thing. So the thing is, like, every time I replay a build that I've played in the past that I really enjoyed, I always try to take a bit of a different approach on it and try to make it better than before. But bad thing is I just cannot make it better than I had it before. Like, honestly, the build overall is so... it's such a well-rounded beast character. And if you have never played EK Ignite, then I would highly recommend for you to do so. This build, probably overall seen, my favorite build of all time. It has the bossing, it has the mapping, it has explosions, it has ignites and proliferations and tanky, and it's like the build overall, it's just such a blast to have this kind of build. And usually after playing EK Ignite, like I think 2-3 leagues ago, when I actually min-maxed it to the end, you know, I played the build for like a month straight or so, and I told myself, never play EK Ignite again, because once you play EK Ignite, every other build feels kind of bad. And this is kind of like the issue with the build, which is a good thing, you know? And, but obviously, can you play this on a budget? Of course you can. Can you play this on high budget? Of course you can. We're gonna talk about the gearing and all the things in a bit. But let's take a look at the mapping. This is just like your average cemetery. You go in, you have your EK shooting in circles, and we hopefully gonna get like the Divine Orb Shrine. That would be great. But overall, it's like, I don't know what else to say about EK Ignite other than it's just a fucking insane build, and you should definitely give it a shot. We're obviously gonna talk about things that I've changed this league. For example, I'm not playing Explodibow. I decided to just skip that one because it was like they're currently going for like a mirror or something, or 100, 200 divines or so, and I did not want to invest that kind of money for my EK Ignite, because I always said, because people are always like, oh, you run an Explodibow MBX, so I need an Explodibow, and if I don't have that, the build doesn't work, you know. Same with like Headhunters, same with like Mage Blood, same with like any other item that is like high end game. People are always assuming if they don't have this item, the build doesn't work. So I decided this time to play it just with the Oriat's Flask Explosions without an Explodibow, and the build is amazing. Who could have known that before? I mean, that's what I'm telling people since the beginning of EK Ignite. You don't even need explosions at all, you know? You have Ignite Proliferation, and the Herald of Ash, explosions and everything is taking care of it anyways, you know? So having Explodey will probably help on a certain degree while clearing, but I think it's more of a visual thing. Or if you go like 100% daily, then it probably helps because the explosions are dealing a lot of damage and therefore inflicting some crazy ignites. But overall, in my tanky version that I'm currently playing, I'm already having, I think 15 mil ignite DPS, and I did all the challenges with 100% Delirium, Guardians. So basically, I've done this yesterday. Challenges, where was it? It was like 6 out of 8, I think. Insane Invitations I've done on the Accuracy Stacker. Let me quickly see. Cruel Custodians. Yeah, this one. Complete any 6 of the following maps while they are tier 16, 5 Deli, 4 Sextants, 4 Gilded, 100% Quantity, and Witnessed by Maven. I've done 6 of these maps yesterday on my EK Ignite build, and the build is just insane. Let's say it like that. Good. Let's talk about the things about what did I change in the Trial of the Ancestor edition, and it has not been a lot, honestly. Well, actually, let's talk first about the gearing process. So, first of all, I think 2 leagues ago or so, I wrote a Maxroll Ethereal Knives Ignite Elementalist, and if you take a look at this image and take a look at that image, like, it's almost like nothing has changed, right? That means that this guide is 100% accurate. It just misses the tattoos, but in my current version, I'm also not using tattoos. I'm gonna explain in a second why that is, but in the PUB that I'm gonna link you, that tattoos are applied. Well, basically, short form is, I've I've done everything I wanted with the build. I'm moving on to the next build. So the question is, am I willing to spend like 10 divines worth of like tattoos just to apply them for a map showcase to then not play it, for example, right? So my version currently is without tattoos. With tattoos, it's even better. Obviously, the only thing that I have here is the +1 dexterity that I'm gonna go over in a second. But back to the Maxroll guide. This explains everything, how the build works, the conversion, how to do the labs, the build info and playstyle, where we talk about conversion, Physis Extra, what are our stuff doing, you know, how do we scale our offense, our defense, the pantheons, what do you do for bossing, you know, skill gems, like whatever you need, everything is here in the Maxroll guide, and it is accurate. Just like I'm gonna give you the updated tattooed version of the PUB. But as I said, everything is here. And if you're wondering, can you play this on a budget? Yes, you can. I leak started this build in, let me see if I scroll down. I think it was Sanctum League. I leak started this build, and it has to be probably my strongest league starter that I have played. So this is a day one here, Sanctum League, EK, Ignite. Day one, I was doing my invitation bosses and stuff, you know, so... And the Divine Orb drop on day one, that's pretty good. But as I said, like, it's not a joke, okay? You can league start this build, you can have a mid-budget, a high-budget, whatever. There's a version for everything, and I've like covered EK Ignite a bunch of times on my YouTube channel, so you're probably gonna find everything and an endgame written version of EK Ignite on Maxroll as well. Good. Let's talk about the FAQ, for example, because this pops up like tons of times every single day on stream. What about the new amulet, right? Let me quickly pop this one up. I think it's called the Dragonfang's replica whatever thing. It's this one over here, and it has +3 of all ethereal knife skills. And a lot of people come to me and be like, why are you not playing this item? It is a lot better than the Gloomfang, okay? And no, that is not true. In fact, Gloomfang is about 40% more damage than the replica Dragonflight. The reason for that is, what people usually forget is a Gloomfang and how does Gloomfang work. So if I put here the chains on 0, I'm running 9 mil or 9.5 mil in the current version. So let's assume I'm just going to import this one. And then we're going to see if it's better or not. So we're going to put in the amulet over here. And I go from 9.6 to 11.5. And this is why people say, why are you not playing this? It's actually like 2 mil ignite DPS increase. But don't get fooled here, okay? Because why do we play the Gloomfang? It is because of the chain. EK is a projectile, and it can chain off items and monsters, or skills and monsters. And once it does, it gains 42% of non-chaos as extra chaos. We're only running elemental damage. We run like fire damage, we run cold damage, we go into conversion, we have Physis Extra cold, Physis Extra fire, here Physis Extra fire. That means if we have 100% elemental damage and we get 42% Ellie as extra chaos, means actually a 42% more damage. But what people forget is to actually check the chain. And we have this on single target because we are running Hydrosphere on Arcanist brand. I put my brand on a boss, it spawns the Hydrosphere, an EK projectile hits the Hydrosphere, chains of the Hydrosphere to the boss, getting the 40% Ellie or Ellie as extra chaos, and inflicting massive ignite. So what is the difference? As I said, Gloomfang 9.6, the new amulet 11.5, but if we go back to Gloomfang and say how often did it chain, one time, 15.1. So it is a couple million more DPS than the replica Dragonfang. So don't get fooled, check your POV, set up your POV properly, and then you see the actual results and why Gloomfang is the non-plus ultra item for this build. Good. Other than that, maybe a quick TLDR, how does this work? So basically, this is not a beginner build, okay? This is an advanced build. It goes over Physis Extra, over conversion, over understanding the core principles of conversion, and this results in this like ridiculous high ignites that we have with this skill. So the first things first, EK, Ethereal Knives is a physical spell, okay? And like physical spells, it cannot ignite, because it's not fire damage, but with the Shaper of Flames, all our hits can ignite and all damage ignites. It means we have 100% chance to hit, and all damage, physical damage, chaos damage, all of these damage sources can ignite. But we still need to start our conversion from some point. Usually you could do like a fist to lightning, but then how do you get lightning to cold? You need Call of the Brotherhoods, and these are actually terrible ideas. They are very bad rings. All they do is like giving conversion. It's actually less damage than the version that I'm running here, so we're skipping the lightning or fist to lightning. We go from physical to cold, and then we go from cold to fire thanks to the cold to fire support. So how do we do that? We need 100% physical to cold conversion, and we get this through a Watcher's Eye modifier with hatred, which goes up to 40%. Then we take the mastery, which is another 40%, so we're sitting at 80%, and then you craft on your gloves physical to cold conversion. Another thing, this is a crafted modifier. The Aisling modifier, the Veiled modifier, can go up to 35. So you just need to check how good rolled is your Watcher's Eye, for example. I got a pretty high rolled one, that's why I get away with the craft. If I do not, if my Watcher's Eye would have lower value, then I need to check that I have higher conversion. But in the end of the day, you need to have 100%, and you see that once you mouse over your skill, it should not show any physical damage, then you know everything is converted. So now we get all the extra damage from the cold conversion with all the increased modifiers to cold damage to elemental damage. Then we go from cold to fire and gain the extra damage of the non-chaos as extra chaos as well, because it's elemental damage. It includes lightning, cold and fire. So every time we go into a conversion step, we're gonna get extra damage out of the Gloomfang on top. So absolutely ridiculous. But this is how it works. You go from a physical spell into multiple conversions and gain all the added benefits as well from the Aether's Promise, which also has 8% ally as extra chaos. Big damage. Other than that, let's talk about the gear. I made this character again spell suppression capped, and I'm kind of wondering, is it actually worth it? The more often I play the build, the more I'm tending to go away from spell suppression. Why is that? First of all, we lost the mastery over here, which gave like 12 or 15% spell suppression. Other than that, it is quite a hard investment. So, where do I get my spell suppression from? 14% on each of my like helmet, gloves, and boots, which is basically 14 times 3. Then we are having Mage Bane on our chest. That means that we get dexterity or spell suppression based on our dexterity. Then I currently run one elegant form for another 10%, and then I'm running a Grace Watcher's Eye with another 15%. So that's like 67. Then here we have another 12, 22% over here, plus 22 is 89, and the rest of the 11% is coming from the dexterity from Mage Bane. This is what I currently have. If you don't want to play with that, I used to play it with the Precise Technique Jewel over here, and then I go down here and I have here an entire cluster with spell suppression, but for the cost of a jewel slot. And this time around I made it a little bit different with an elegant form, Brush with Death, Purposeful Harbinger combination over here. You can use that, you cannot use that. The most important thing is you want to have Fan the Flames, you want to have Brush with Death, because this is the one that makes mapping feel really good. As soon as you blow up a pack, you're instantly 100% life, energy, shield, mana, whatever. It is really, really strong, so this is like quality of life. But as I said, Fan the Flames, Brush with Death, and 2 times Purposeful Harbinger. This is what you want to have. I'm running one here on my Megalomaniac and the other one here on the just a typical medium cluster jewel with Lasting Impressions and Purposeful Harbinger. We are running 2 Heralds, so we're getting up to 32%. A third Purposeful Harbinger would not be worth it. Coming to the next thing, let's talk about tattoos. What tattoos would I do? First of all, easy. The Honor Tattoo of the Hunter gives +1 of dexterity skills. Ethereal Knives is a dexterity skill, so we're getting just a free extra level. I don't even, 20 chaos or whatever this tattoo was. That was quite fine. I did min-max my build to a point where I can play without tattoos. The good thing about tattoos, especially since this build is strength and dexterity starved, you can just transform your intelligence node into whatever you need. 4 attributes. So we get strength and dexterity to level up our determination and stuff like that, which is really, really comfy. If you have enough stats, you can go for Chaos Rest tattoos. I put down here in my POB on the custom modifiers like 2 versions. One would be Obviously, you're losing intelligence. I have over 300 intelligence, I think. That means, wait, this is actually... Oh, wait, I put the tattoos in over here, how I would play it. But overall, you can spare 15 intelligence tattoos to either say, like, hey, I want to get 50% increased effect of non-damaging, like, of auras, like aura effect. Or the way I would do it, take 10 crit immunity notes and 5 of your non-cursed auras from your skill. And this was what I was doing here, so I'm running 10 times the 10% reduced extra damage from critical strikes. Means, thanks to that, we are crit immune. And then one time I have here, or at least like, I think like 5 times on intelligence with increased aura effect, and 1 time on the strength node aura effect because I had enough strength to have level 21 determination, stuff like that. So it's totally up to you. Either you fix your attributes, either you fix your resistance, like elemental resistance, chaos resistance. You can go for aura effect for damage and tankiness because of more armor and evasion. You can go for, I don't know, global defense. You can do whatever you want with the tattoos, at least in the version that I'm playing, which is fairly min-max when it comes to the stats. With fixing the resistance, but I just want to have this quality of life point that now I can pick whatever tattoos I want to complement the build. Nothing here is like build defining, besides one thing. Magebane. This is like, either you say you want to play with spell suppression, which is totally fine. I really like spell suppression. I probably think it's the best defensive mechanic in the game, but with a quite high investment, with all these like fractured bases, with a Watcher's Eye Jewel and stuff like that. Or you play without. If you decide to want to, and you cannot find a Magebane Skin of the Lord, which will most likely happen once people see, I think at the moment there is not even a single one with this coloration on the market, so even the video is not even out and there is none on the market. What you would do is get a Skin of the Loyal, which is, this is like your upgrade path. You go from a normal Skin of the Loyal to Skin of the Lords with a keystone that doesn't screw up your build, into another Skin of the Loyal with a +4 corruption or +3 corruption in the best case. So what do we do with Magebane? So there is a new tattoo. Let me quickly see. Path of Exile tattoo, keystone something. Oh, wait a second. Path of Exile tattoo. They made a post that the content update, which comes with new tattoos, and one of these is grants a random keystone. So if you have the currency, and I expect you to have the currency, if you decide, like, don't get me wrong, I don't want to be toxic here or anything. Getting spell suppression in your build is the last step, the most expensive step for... It's like, if you say, hey, I have 25 divines, I want to play AK Ignite, do not worry about spell suppression. If you have 100 divines and you want to play AK Ignite, probably do not worry about spell suppression. If you want to go big dick, you know, like 150, 200 divines, Headhunter version, you know, so you have the currency, then you can go spell suppression because it comes for a certain price with investment. And if you have spell suppression in your build, then you need Magebane, okay? And that's why I assume if you're running the spell suppression node, you are able to farm currency and re-roll one of the keystones. Most likely it's going to be Zealot Oath, so you skill Zealot Oath, and then you spam some of the Journey tattoo and try to get Magebane over here, okay? So this is the quality of life with the tattoos. It saves you skill points in the end of the day, and will also make your spell suppression cap. But as I said, I don't want to sound toxic, but I assume if you run like a 100+ divine version of EK Ignite and you want to get spell suppression, that you're also going to have a couple divines left over to transform your keystone into Magebane, so you do not need Magebane on your Skill of the Lords because they're going to be in high demand, okay? And your best in slot item would be like I have on the, what is it, on the EK Ignite, I ran here a +4 duration projectile, and these chests could go up to like, I don't know, 100 divines, 150, maybe a mirror, depending on the popularity, but this would be like best in slot chest with +1 and +2 duration. This combination is the most damage because the +2 duration will always also affect like something like your Swift Affliction. So good. So we talked about the tattoos. This one is pretty good, as I said, pretty cheap. The rest is whatever you need. Tankiness, res, chaos res, attributes, whatever. It's gonna make the things a lot cheaper. So let's go over my gear. So as I said, this one was spammed with, I crafted, by the way, everything myself. Spammed with essence of, I think, Loathing or something. I think it was this one on the top. Loathing gives you mana reservation efficiency. I just tried to hit any T1 res, suffixing up a change, Veiled Chaos, or Craft Life, done. You know, implicit, mana reservation, and flammability curse effect. Then on the gloves, I did the same thing. I spammed, what is it? I think I spammed Chaos Essences, the Essence of Envy, I think. Hit the T1 resistance, suffix cannot be changed, veiled Chaos Orb, got 2 AoE, put in my auras over here, craft, life, or in this case, the conversion, done. Next one, boots, fractured boots. I spammed also Essence of Loathing, getting avoid elemental ailments, for and with a T1 res, suffix cannot be changed, veiled Chaos Orb, unveil movement speed, craft life, and you have your boots done. I know I can Exalt Slam all of these items because they're all like 5 modifiers, but I'd rather have like super nice juicy items with 4 stats instead of like Exalting now and then have like T6 like Evasion Energy Shield Hybrid mod. It makes the build better, but I have OCD and this item looks way more beautiful instead of like having a 6-modded item with like 1 stupid stat on it. But ailment avoidance, we are here having 32 on our implicit, 30 up to 35 on our essence, which is already over 60%. And then we get the rest of the ailment avoidance through the Ancestral Vision. Yeah, I always forget that. The Ancestral Vision gives you modifiers to chance to suppress spell damage, also apply to avoid elemental ailments. We have 100% chance to suppress spell damage, equals 50% all ailments. If you play this without spell suppression, then use Storm Shroud and get avoid being shocked on either your boots, your belt, wherever you can fit it. You need to have 100%, so you're ailment immune. Nice quality of life, nice defensive layer. For the bow, this time I went with a +1 level of Socrates support gems for giving like my my Enlighten 1 extra level. So it's actually +4 levels, which is actually ridiculous with this craft. So I can fit in all my auras: Determination, Herald of Ash, Discipline, Hatred, Grace, Herald of Purity, and Vitality. So this is a half an aura stacker at this point. The way to craft this, you spam cast speed essences to hit T1 dot multi or anything else what you would like to. When it comes to dot multi, then you remove your prefix and suffix, so you want to have a rare item that has only these 2 modifiers. You craft cannot roll attack modifiers, you Exalt Slam, you're guaranteed to get the socketed +1 gems, then you multi-mod with +2 of socketed support gems, and fire is extra chaos, and this is your best in slot bow. And there is also a crafting guide for that on the where is it? Videos, guides, build info, playstyle, gear and crafting. We have the main hand, the bow, and there is a crafting guide for the EK Ignite bow from Spicy Sushi, going step over step. What do you need to do? What is your base? Use perfect falses, you know, use deafening essence, annual off, blah blah blah, can roll attack modifiers, the same thing that I just explained. And finish off your bow. There is a crafting guide within the build guide, so that will help you as well. When it comes to the quiver, you can either go with a quiver that gives Physis extra chaos, or the one I did is projectile speed, because quality of life, having very fast projectiles. And then this time around I spammed essence of was it Hysteria? I think essence of Hysteria gives quiver, Physis extra fire. So I spammed this one on a redeemer base to hit like Physis extra cold or anything else that I need. Then it's like a bit of a lucky craft. I exalted T3 life, and then I just prefix cannot be changed, veiled Chaos Orb, unveiled the Frenzy on crit, and then Exalt Slammed again for lightning res and crafted Strength Dexterity, and yeah, that was kind of weird. But what you want to have, basically, that's why I say I'm usually spamming essences on my 3 fractured items to hit T1 res on each of them, and then we are usually res capped, so my quiver is basically my stat stick for whatever. You know, depending on your resistance, how many tattoos you're using, your quiver can be anything. Either it's pure damage and you want to go for this like double Physis extra, or you say like, shit dude, I need some resistance, get it on your quiver. I need some dexterity, get it on your quiver, you know? The quiver is nice the way that I have it with 30% Physis extra, but you have already a lot of damage, so use the quiver as your fixing stats thingy. And once everything is fixed, you can still go for a better quiver with more damage and stuff like that. Good. What else do I need to talk about? As I said, on my channel there is plenty of EK Ignite videos with all kinds of showcases. I think 100% daily. Yesterday or so I uploaded a video about 80% daily with skittering strategy. Super fun, definitely enjoyable if you want to have some loot explosion ASMR and so on and so forth. All the other information is you can either take of my current POB that is in the description below, or from the Maxroll guide if you want to read through step by step, and hopefully you enjoy the build as much as I do. Let's go over the MTX real quick, because I know a lot of people are going to ask me that as well. It's the entire Pandemonium set with the Burning Torture Gloves. It's like the different effect that you see on the Ignite Proliferation, the Dragon Hunter Bow and the Dragon Hunter Quiver here on my back. Then I have the Incinerator Weapon effect, Infernal Crystalline Charges, which makes my Frenzy Power and Earn Charges in like a orange-red style. The Scavenger Character effect with Pandemonium's Footprints. I disabled all the Flask effects because I think it looks stupid when you're like lighting up like a Christmas tree. And then the Dragonfire Portal effect. When it comes to EK, I use the Ebony Ethereal Knives and the Spear Herald effect for Herald of Ash to get this like fancy explosions. And other than that, Ominous Hydrosphere disabled all the auras with invisible buff effects, because I don't, as I said, don't want to light up like a Christmas tree. I like my characters smooth and cool looking without like too many effects, but still enough effects to say like, yo, this is actually a freaking amazing MTX. Alright boys, I'm gonna move on to the next build, and I say again, if you never played EK Ignite, do yourself a favor, you're not gonna regret it. The only problem that could be is EK Ignite is so freaking good with all the pros and cons about the build, with like the speed, the farming, the 100% daily, the gearing curve from league start to endgame. This is probably the best, or one of the best Simulacrum farmers, going like 7 rewards on wave 30 even. It's absolutely ridiculous. It works without Mage Blood, with Mage Blood, without Headhunter, with Headhunter, you know, like so many adjustments that you can make on the build, and I just hope that you enjoyed the build as much as I do. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.